who's the most average NBA player in 2021? Drum roll, please. And that player would be? Let's find out. The magical world of the NBA is all about that. Magic. No, not that kind of magic. That's the Orlando Magic. We're talking about actual magic. We're talking about great players and unique, inspiring stories of talent, determination, heart, and hard work. Such as Giannis Antetokounmpo's story, who went from being a poor immigrant from Sepolia, Greece, to becoming a two-time NBA MVP and also, soon, a Hollywood star. Well, sort of. Or LeBron's story. Or Kevin Durant's story. But what about Average Joe's story? Because for every glorified NBA superstar, there are dozens of players out there that make it to the NBA and spend the majority of their careers, or even their whole careers in the league, without ever becoming stars. They definitely have talent, they've got skills, they're not utter trash, they make some money, and they even help their teams win sometimes. They're hard workers, they score some points and play some defense, they do what needs to be done, but they're never really extraordinary. They're just, oh well, average. In this edition of Hoop Nation, we're going to talk about those unsung heroes, those NBA Average Joes, and determine who's the most average NBA player in 2021. Before we get started, as always, we want to thank all our loyal subscribers. And if you're not one of them yet, here's your chance to hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, to make this video, we had to use various criteria. Since the old school positions tend to be extinct in the modern NBA, for example, centers are like endangered species and they're not even a thing anymore according to the All-Star Game ballots, we decided not to regard position as an important factor. We mostly use criteria like league averages regarding various statistical categories like minutes per game or points per game, assists per game when referring to guards, and rebounds per game when referring to forwards. We focused on players that are at least beyond their sophomore year in the league and have never received any major accolades, and we also calculated variables such as average league age or average league height, and of course, average league salary, because we all love this game and we all love money. In order to present to you 10 consistently average active NBA players as of the 2020-21 season and find out who's the most average of them all. So what does the average NBA player in 2021 look like? Evaluating various criteria and using various sources in the league's estimations itself, the average NBA player is about 26 years old, 6'7", and earns around $10 million per year. He gets a decent amount of playing time and his career numbers are consistently average. But don't mistake average for bad, because even an average NBA player is still a pretty good basketball player. Like Tony Snell, the Atlanta Hawks forward is 29 years old, has average height, and he's going to make approximately $12 million for the 2020-21 season. His career numbers aren't memorable at all. He averages just 6.5 points per game and 2.3 rebounds per game. That's actually a bit below average, but that's counterbalanced with hard work and good defense and above average shooting percentages. That's why he's been around for a while now, receiving respectable playing time throughout his career and being a really useful team player, but he's never been a star, nor someone to actually rely on. Another excellent example is Dwight Powell. He's got an average height for a big man, he makes average money, and he's also 29 years old. He started in less than 1 out of 4 games he was eligible to play, and he averages 18.7 minutes per game. He scores 7.7 points per game and grabs 4.6 rebounds. Even though he or his numbers aren't exactly a joy to behold, they love him in Dallas due to his passion and energy, but obviously they're all still wearing Luka's jersey, not Dwight's. A particularly interesting case is that of Denzel Valentine, who was an excellent college player and he was the 14th overall pick in the 2016 draft. He's of average age and height, even though various sources disagree on the latter. Was he wearing shoes when he was measured? Or shocks? Was he on a trampoline? Either way, he's going to make just $4.6 million during the 2020-21 season. He's a combo guard forward that can defend multiple positions. Denzel Valentine had a quite unremarkable rookie season with the Bulls, and then he showed clear signs of improvement in his sophomore season before missing out the entirety of the 2018-19 season. Then he had another unremarkable and injury-plagued season, and hopefully he's going to try and remain healthy and elevate to the next level this year. Of all the players on this list, he probably has the greatest potential, but his career so far has been pretty average. DJ Augustin is the definition of what being a pretty good average player really is. Yeah, we see the irony here. He spent the majority of his career being a reliable backup point guard, averaging 24.1 minutes per game, 9.9 points per game and 4 assists. He was never really a charismatic offensive player, even though he once scored 35 points in a game as a member of the Detroit Pistons, and he was never the best defender around. But he's always been a really useful player to have on your team, just not one that usually finishes games or receives any honors. If we really want to focus on the numbers, then Mason Plumlee should definitely be mentioned. His career, number-wise, has been incredibly average. He's currently earning $8 million per year, he's 30 years old, he's of an average height for a center, and he's even started in almost half of his NBA games, averaging 21.6 minutes per game. He averages 8.3 points per game and 6.2 rebounds, and his numbers have always been good regarding inside scoring, but he never had a steady hand regarding free throws, and he's also a reliable shot blocker. Even though he's actually an old school player, he's surviving with ease in the modern NBA, but definitely not thriving. Glenn Allen Robinson III is probably the one and only on this list that's actually won something. Of course, that was the 2017 NBA Slam Dunk contest, but still, before turning pro, he'd also been a part of a marvelous Michigan Wolverines team that had an unexpectedly great March Madness run, reaching the championship game. As a pro, though, the son of the former first overall draft pick Glenn Robinson has had an unremarkable career so far. He actually played well last year for a terrible Warriors team, but during his career, he averages just 6 points per game and 2.6 rebounds while playing 17.5 minutes per game. Even though numbers will disagree, including TJ McConnell on this list might be a bit unfair. He's of an average age, check, he makes less than average money and just averages 4.6 points per game and an actually decent 4.7 assists per game, playing 21.4 minutes per game. He's actually quite useful, a hard-working and devoted defender and quite a solid player to come from the bench and control the tempo of the game. He's just not flashy or extremely talented. He's not someone that really stands out on the floor. Cody Zeller is the highest draft pick on this list. He was selected as the 4th pick in the 2013 NBA draft by the Charlotte Hornets, continuing the legacy of the franchise's excellent draft picks. He's also the most overpaid player on this list, making a hefty $15.4 million for the 2020-21 season. His numbers kind of resemble Plumlee's numbers, averaging 22.9 minutes per game while scoring 8.6 points and grabbing 6 rebounds. But Cody was supposed to be the better prospect, and he never met those expectations. And he actually looks like a really average guy. A really tall, really average guy. Delon Wright's career has always been pretty average too. He makes $9 million per year, which is around the league's average, and he's also of average age and height for his position. He's always been a bench player, starting in just 1 of 10 of his NBA games, playing 19.8 minutes per game. He scores 7.3 points per game, also averaging 3.1 assists and 2.9 rebounds, while being a consistently average shooter. He's been in the league for a while now, and he's probably going to be around in the foreseeable future, but he hasn't shown any signs of greatness, even though he's having a strong start in the 2020-21 season. Ed Davis's case is all about consistency and also about a lack of greatness. Another hard worker mentioned in this video, Davis has always been one of the first options off the bench, averaging 19.8 career minutes per game. He's always been a consistently good rebounder, but a bad free throw shooter, having a good percentage regarding inside scoring, but never been an actual factor offensively, and he's probably one of the few players in the modern NBA that's never made a three. We've reached judgment time. So who's the most average player in the 2021 season after all? Drum roll, please. And that player would be the first one we mentioned, Tony Snell. Taking into consideration physical attributes, salary, playing time, number of starts and career averages, and having in mind, as mentioned before, that being average in the NBA doesn't mean being bad, Tony Snell feels like the strongest candidate here and the most obvious choice. Who do you think is the most average NBA player in 2021? Leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And keep loving this game.